Today I'm going to take a look at all of the creatures revealed so far for Grounded 2. Between the announcement trailer and developer deep dive, there were over 20 creatures shown. Before I begin, if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I'm going to start with the announcement trailer, and I do have it playing at half speed because some of the creatures are literally only in the video for about a frame. So first up is going to be a red soldier ant, which we're going to see on the ground right there in the bottom. You can see it right down here. So that was the first creature that was shown off. And of course, that's in the first game. Up here in the top left, we're also going to see what looks like either a moth or a butterfly. I don't know exactly which one it is because it does have the colorful wings, and doing a little research, both moths and butterflies can have colorful wings. Letting it play ahead a little bit further, we're going to see there's another one of the moths or butterflies here. And then here, of course, we have a bee. Bees are obviously in the first game as well. So far we have 2 returning creatures and 1 new creature. And then here we're going to see a weevil, which is unfortunately walking towards one of the new aggressive creatures, and that's going to be a scorpion. Now, in the different videos that they revealed, the announced trailer and the developer deep dive, they showed scorpions quite a few times. I don't know if they're all exactly the same or if they are different variations. Some of them look like they were different colors, but it could have also just been the environment that they were in with the lighting. So this one here, you're going to notice is purple and blue. And then just after the scorpion burrows, we're going to notice this giant caterpillar up here, which looks kind of imposing here with all of the different things that are on it. So I'm not sure if this one's going to be aggressive, neutral, or passive. I can't imagine it'll be passive because it's so big. So more likely than not, this thing will probably be either neutral or aggressive. And then here we're going to see the red worker ant along with another soldier ant. We were told in one of the videos that you can ride the soldier ants, but the soldier ants can also call in red worker ants to help them out. So there's going to be at least one type of ant in the game so far, or so far there's been one type of ant revealed. Immediately we're going to flash forward to a familiar face here, which is going to be the orb weaver. And then just behind the orb weaver, we're going to see there's actually a couple of ladybugs back there, which we'll see a little bit later on as well. So not missing much here. You'll notice there's 2 ladybugs here. They appear many times in these videos. And here too, the characters are jumping into the ice cream area. You'll notice here's another scorpion, but this one, it could be the same colors. It could just be the lighting, but this one almost looks like it's a pinkish color. So there may be more than one type of scorpion in the game. All right, so next up is going to be a couple of creatures in this shot. So first off is going to be, you're going to see that there's a praying mantis here. So there was obviously an orchid mantis in the first game that was a boss. Now we have praying mantises, which just look like they're regular mobs that are out in the yard. I'll let it play for like one scene here, just so we can see up top here. You're going to notice there is an aphid up here. This looks like a stuffed aphid. So I don't recall. I went back and watched both the videos all the way through a couple of times. They're at half speed. I didn't see any aphids in the yard, but with there being a stuffed aphid here, there's probably aphids somewhere in the yard. And then here we're going to see Pete throwing what looks like a mint staff attack. And it's going to be hitting this creature here, which has been confirmed, or it is almost surely going to be a cockroach. Now, this looks like a full-grown one here. I'm not sure. This could either be a baby cockroach or a small cockroach, or it might be an earwig. I am noticing here that the cockroach does have these little things sticking on here, but this one also has it. The earwigs were supposed to be in the original game, but they ended up not making it into it. So this could either be a small cockroach or it could be an earwig. Then they immediately cut to walking up on the imposing stink bug here. So of course, stink bugs were pretty common in the original Grounded game. So these are definitely look familiar and make sense, obviously, to be in the game since we're in just right around the corner, right, very, very close to where the original game was. And next up is going to be one of my least favorite creatures that was in the first game. Actually, the larvae aren't that bad. It was the ladybird larvae that were all over the upper yard. But here we're going to see the regular larvae attacking our 2 friends here who are on the mounts. And the cool thing they showed there was that actually on the mounts, you can perfect block or parry attacks from enemies, which is a really cool feature. There's another look at the ladybugs. Another look at the scorpion. You notice there, that scorpion looked like it might have been had a little bit of green tint to it. So not sure. Again, there might be multiple types of scorpions. It might just be the lighting. So anyway, here's the last sequence here from the trailer that showed any creatures in it that I saw. And this is going to be an orb weaver, which we're mounted on, which they've confirmed you can ride orb weavers, fighting against a wolf spider. So that was all the creatures that were shown in the trailer. Now I'm going to go take a look at the developer deep dive, which showed a couple more that were obviously not in this trailer. So you may or may not have seen that one. So let's jump over and we'll take a look at those. All right, so we see the caterpillar once again. I have this playing, and here's the weevils. I have this playing in half speed again, just so we don't miss it. So I'm going to pause right here. This is going to be what looks like a cherry bush of some sort. And you'll notice here that we got an orb we were walking up, but there is also a snail here. So the snails do appear here. I think they appear later in another scene. There's also a picture, a good picture of them on the Steam page. Then here's going to be a nighttime scene, and we're going to notice that we do have fireflies in the game, another familiar face from the original Grounded game. Looks like there's a bee flying in the background. Here's another firefly. So there will be at least some creatures, at least one creature that only comes out at nighttime, and I'm sure there'll probably be others just like there were in the first game. All right, here's two of the characters walking in what looks like an Ominate lab here, and you'll notice that flying across the screen is going to be the crow, which obviously was in the first game, so there's going to be at least one large creature. There is a water area back, it might be back here, so there's a possibility there's going to be underwater creatures as well. Maybe there's more koi fish or some other type of large creature, but at the very least, it looks like the crow has, or a crow has made its way into Grounded 2. All right, so here's a couple of fight sequences, and you'll notice here that they did reveal there are going to be mosquitoes in the game, which we can get an okay look at there, and obviously they're going to be near the water areas where they typically are, so there's probably going to be some flooded zones in this park, and there will be mosquitoes who will be flying around and most likely just trying to hunt you down like they did in the first game. And then next up, we're going to have some spiderlings here. So this kind of makes sense because you'll see the little spiderlings right here. The spiderlings are going to fit in with being with the ore weavers. And then, of course, that's where they're normally at. But they also are sometimes near the wolf spiders where they spawn. And then here we're going to see the returning bombardier beetles. So again, if you've played the original Grounded game, you're going to be familiar with these guys. So they were pretty common in the yard, and they're like a mid-level enemy. A little tough early game, but overall not too difficult to deal with once you've geared up. And then last but not least, it's going to be a little bit tough to see these guys. I actually had to watch this in 4K and take a picture of it and blow it up to confirm what these look like they are. Pretty sure these are gnats. So there's going to be gnats above the little water area here, which again makes sense because gnats are a common creature in Grounded. So by my count, there were at least 23 creatures shown between the announcement trailer and the developer deep dive. Now, there's also could be multiple versions of the scorpion, so that number could be a little bit higher. Also, that one bug that I said could either be an earwig or a baby cockroach. Even if it is the baby cockroach, it is two variations of the cockroach. So at a minimum, there's over 20 creatures that have been shown so far, and I'm sure there's going to be many more to come once we dive into the game at the end of July. For me, the ones that I'm most interested in taking on or obviously encountering are going to be the new ones, and that's going to be like the scorpion. I'm definitely curious to see how tough the scorpions are going to be. Are they going to be as tough as like fighting a wolf spider early game for the first time when you jumped into the original Grounded game? I'm also curious to see if the caterpillar is going to be friendly, or if it's going to be neutral, or if it's going to be aggressive. By looking at it, it almost comes off as it could be aggressive, but then again, caterpillars in real life obviously have that kind of appearance just to kind of scare off other insects or other creatures, so that'll be interesting. And definitely the snail. I'm curious. The snail's almost surely going to be passive, but I'm curious what the snail's going to give us. Is it going to give us some type of slime that we can use to make traps, or be able to maybe like walk up walls or something like that? So all in all, there's a ton of new creatures that are coming, and I'm sure there's going to be many more that haven't been revealed up to this point. So anyway, let me know which creature you're most looking forward to encountering for the first time in Grounded 2 in the comments down below. If you found this video interesting or informative, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.